What's up? How we doing, YouTubers? Burden here. Just thought I'd for once do something a little different. Sit outside and talk to you guys versus the inside. So apologize for the noise there. Right here near a major airport, so flights are coming in. But one of the things I did want to talk about was this idea of being considered alive, then being considered dead, and being resurrected again. And I'm specifically referring to this from the perspective of existing or current Jehovah's Witnesses. I had the experience, which I'm sure many of you have as well, that since you've exited the organization, maybe officially by either being disfellowshipped or disassociated, you may have heard of someone that you knew that was associated with Jehovah's Witnesses that died. And of course, you find out about the arrangements. Maybe there's a funeral or memorial service or something like that. So for me, there was an individual that I grew up with who died due to cancer. And so they threw a JW type funeral memorial service for him, even though he wasn't officially baptized. But he was studying, so his mom was a witness, excuse me. And so they actually allowed the use of the Kingdom Hall for the purpose of a funeral service. Well, I go, after hearing about it, I go to the memorial service, first time in the Kingdom Hall since 2013. But I decided, based on, I knew the family and I knew this young man, lost contact with him in recent years, but I felt bad enough that I wanted to go and show support to the family, who includes his mother, current witness. So I go, and it's interesting because you're considered dead, according to the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, when you are disfellowshipped or disassociated, and you're not to be dealt with. Then, of course, you go to a funeral service or memorial service like I did, and of course there you're dealing with someone who has actually died. And they're talking about the idea of the person having a better hope for the future and how we should appreciate our lives now and make our lives right with God for the purpose of said future that the Bible itself lays out according to Jehovah's Witnesses' interpretation. But while they're talking about the value of life and how much we need to appreciate and value it now with the idea towards looking to the future, a person that walks into the Kingdom Hall who's in a state like I am, as disassociated, no longer a witness, they look past you. They look at you as if you truly have already died. And yet they can get on the platform, get a talk, and try to encourage people to love each other now, show love now, show love for God now, value life now, with the idea that your life, of course, will be rewarded ultimately in the future. How consistent would you say that is with the reported personality of Jesus Christ? If Jesus was actually presiding over a memorial service of someone that's died, do you think he would actually ignore or shun or mean mug, as some of my folks call it, mean mug someone who actually is there that they know? Something to think about, from my perspective at least. And again, it's one of those things where you see how inconsistent it is. It's this cognitive dissonance that we talk about, where their minds are telling them that this is an individual that they know, perhaps even love, and that they should acknowledge the person. And yet, at the same time, because of the programming of an organization, a religious corporation, they're shutting off what their minds are telling them to be right in order to supposedly appease or please God or Jehovah, with the idea of being considered obedient to him. And so you'll ignore a human in front of you that's alive while you're there supposedly supporting someone who's dead. just terribly inconsistent and really nonsensical to me. And each week and each month that goes by, I can't believe that I subjected myself to that type of programming. And then here's another twist that I think about too, XJW tubers, here's another thing I think about too, XJW tubers. It's one of those things where now you have individuals who, again, they have family members, for example, that are disfellowship disassociated. The society, the Watchtower organization says to consider them all but dead. Consider them as already slain by Jehovah. Okay, fine. And so, and not really fine, but that's the thought process. Okay. And then now they have another relative, for example, that succumbs to death and is no longer with them. Now they feel a sense of loss and maybe a sense of reality hits them. Oh, now they reach out to the one that they already considered dead, even though they're walking above ground. The disfellowship, disassociated, inactive JW, inactive for, again, disfellowship, dissociated XJW. Here's a person that they've considered to be all but dead, but now that they've suffered loss with another family member, now they want to resurrect the one that they consider to be dead. So now I'm going to bring you back to life for my purposes because I need to see you, I need to hug you, I miss you. And now they want to bring the person back to life. How would you respond to that situation? So say you're the child, a relatively young individual, of a parent who's treating you that way. Then on top of that, once they bring you back to life for the purposes of the grieving process with their other relative, as soon as that process or that event is over, well, now they're going to kill you again and consider you dead. How does that line up with supposed Christianity? How does that line up with the personality of Jesus or God himself, if that's what you believe? How does that consistently show Christ-like love? This is where, I guess for the first time in a long time or ever, I really got a chance to see from the outside in the hypocrisy of the Jehovah's Witness organization when it comes to this thing. And again, I understand for the JW apologists out there, that this is not something that each individual JW perhaps comes up with of their own volition in terms of their thought process. I understand that. And that it is probably more heavily weighted towards organizational programming. However, it's interesting to note that you still have the benefit of personality and individualism, even within Jehovah's Witnesses. And yet, selectively, individuals may decide when and when not to show that individuality or that personality. And so I just find that to be a very strange, curious, and yet, in my opinion, unfortunately, hypocritical way to deal with people. When it comes to this matter of Jehovah's Witnesses, funerals, death, showing a grieving process for a loved one, and then, like I said, you have an individual you are related to, or maybe you just know they're out, so they're dead, according to you and the organization. But something happens in your personal life or someone that you all had in common, now you're going to resurrect them again. It's almost like what we've heard before, where people maybe have relatives that are out, and say it's the mom or the dad. Mom or dad, now they're sick. Well, now that they're sick, they're going to resurrect the child of theirs that disappointed them by changing their mind about the religion. Now they're going to bring them back to life. But then, no sooner as perhaps other opportunities or arrangements show up to support that individual in their time of need that maybe involves fellow JWs, well, now they're dead again. We'll put them back in the ground. What a terrible, inconsistent, inhumane way to think about the lives of people. And yet, This is something, again, I'm sure we all can admit, we were a part of if you were at one point associated with Jehovah's Witnesses. We shared in, believed and supported this thought process. And yet I'm here to tell you, I still can't believe it when I look back at that. Something that at a minimum is terribly regretful. So perhaps you can share your thoughts about it, give me your take, but I just wanted to make a quick video to kind of talk about this issue, as it certainly is relevant for no doubt myself, but perhaps many of you as well. All righty, have a good day, tourists. Take care.